Welcome back to Get Up. We got breaking news, and for that, let's go to our senior NBA insider, Adrian Wojnarowski. Woj, what do you have for us?
Brian, massive news for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell, their five-time All-Star guard, has agreed to a 3-year, $150.3 million contract extension. That includes a player option in 2027 that would allow a pathway for Mitchell to do another extension then with 10 years of NBA service that would make him eligible for a 5-year, $380 million plus extension. So now the Cavs, they have Donovan Mitchell under contract beyond this next season. And listen, a big part of this is the relationship Mitchell has built with this organization, with Kobe Altman, their president, Mike Ganzi, their GM. And his excitement for where this organization is and where he thinks they can go. They met Saturday in Los Angeles. Donovan Mitchell, his agent, Austin Brown, who's the co-head of basketball at CAA, with Kobe Altman, and really laid out together a vision, a partnership for how they imagine this going for the future. And Donovan Mitchell committing now to this 3-year, $150.3 million extension. He's under contract now, guaranteed 4 years, $185 million. But, you know, this is a Cleveland team that got to the second round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. Kenny Atkinson is their new coach. But Donovan Mitchell commits here to a fairly long-term deal with this Cavaliers organization. And again, he can opt out of this deal in 27, and then he's eligible for a Jason Tatum-like deal that could potentially be worth, with the new monies coming into the league, maybe nearly $400 million, Brian.
Well, that's key when you talked about the relationship there, Woj, because, you know, obviously they got a new coach there in Cleveland. And at one point there were people saying that maybe Donovan Mitchell may want to leave Cleveland, come to New York. But it seems that he's happy with the direction there, and that's the reason why for re-signing there in Cleveland, Woj?
No, absolutely, Brian. And I talked to Donovan Mitchell at the end of the season, just after they were eliminated by Boston. And he said to me, I am happy in Cleveland, and I am proud of what we've done so far, that he knows he wants to do more. He doesn't want to be part of a team that's, you know, just a perennial conference semifinalist. He thinks, and rightly so, there's a pathway in Cleveland with the emergence of Evan Mobley. They got an all-star center in Jared Allen, the growth of this young group, and some belief with the arrival of Kenny Atkinson that they can elevate this team. But, you know, he's really liked his time in Cleveland. He believes in this management, this ownership group, and they are all in on Donovan Mitchell. And again, they met over the weekend. They agreed on this on Saturday. This didn't just happen today. But certainly for Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs, they are locked down together moving forward, and they'll continue to try to build that Cavaliers team to take on Boston, Philly, New York in the East.
It's breaking news, and it is a Woj bomb. Donovan Mitchell, 3 years, $150 million extension with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Thank you, Woj. That is part of some big news here as we welcome you back here on Get Up, coming to you live from the Seaport, brought to you by Chase. Gentlemen, we got to talk about that because Donovan Mitchell re-signing there with the Cavaliers. And listen, you know this as well. There was a lot of talk about maybe Donovan Mitchell wanting to come back home to New York, but obviously staying there in Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, it was the connection with the Knicks that he was hoping to have at some point. The Knicks had an opportunity to trade for him 2 years ago, decided not to do it. And so, therefore, he ended up in Cleveland. And there was always this thought that that was a temporary stay. But things changed in New York, whether the direction the Knicks went in. And so that opportunity to come here, which the Knicks were very interested in him, it just wasn't going to happen. Now, for here, I think for Cleveland, it's his ability now to put 10 toes down in Cleveland and to stay there. And he has a new coach in Kenny Atkinson, and Kenny Atkinson's a New York guy as well. And I think that they're going to connect. I believe they've already had conversations. I think they're going to connect really well there. And so this is something that he does have the ability in 2026 to make a decision. Either I will think about opting out or I will sign an extension to stay here even longer. So it does give him some flexibility, but it also gives him that ability to put all the conversation away that he's now a Cavalier for good.
Tim, you know, he averaged, and I'm talking about Mitchell, 28, 5, and 5 in those 2 seasons in Cleveland. Look, he averaged 30 in the playoffs. I mean, this kid balled out there for Cleveland.
Yeah, look, Donovan Mitchell, when the Cavs traded for him, they had said they had Evan Mobley, they had Darius Garland, Jared Allen. They could create a big four with those guys, and they thought it would be enough to get Donovan Mitchell to stick around for a while, and it has worked. And he is going to commit there now for a couple of years. This was always, to me, the way this was going to land, where Donovan Mitchell signs this 2+1 extension. It's the right extension for him to sign because in a couple of years, as Adrian laid out, he will then be eligible for the 35% max, where he's making almost $400 million, which is a ton of money. And it then gives him the optionality, if he doesn't really like the way things are going over the next couple of years in Cleveland, he can maybe say, hey, maybe we do something different down the road as opposed to locking in for 4 or 5 years. So makes sense on all sides.
There are 2 things that you have to know about this. That's it. One is the second biggest contract signing in the history of the Cavs franchise after LeBron returning in 2014. That speaks to how important and how high stakes this was because of what they traded for him. The second thing is you can put whatever you want on the bottom screen. You can qualify it. This is a 2-year contract. The Cavs now have 2 years to do it because he would face going into last year of his deal in 2 years. So even getting 2 years is terrific for the Cavs, especially with where they're positioned. So the Cavs should absolutely celebrate this and absolutely keep their nose to the grindstone.
All right. Let's get back to one of the other big stories from the NBA. And we show out. Yes. Yeah. I'm Brian Custer in for Green. Look, I got a really big team with me today. Alan Hahn is here. Tim Bontemps is here. Dan Graziano is here to talk to football. Kevin Clark is here making his get-up debut.
It's a debut.
Welcome to the show.
Yourself. That's a good start.
By the way, we have Dominique with us as well. Foxworth is with us as well. Wendy's here, Brian Windhorst to talk more hoop. And we got to start with the big news that came from Dallas. Yes, Klay Thompson has agreed on a 3-year, $50 million contract with the Mavericks. Klay leaves the Warriors after 13 seasons, 4 championships. Now we'll look to help Luka Doncic and the Mavs get back to the NBA Finals. And Klay could be exactly what the Mavs need. He has 8 seasons of shooting over 40% from 3. That trails his former Splash brother Steph for the most such seasons in NBA history. Meanwhile, you know, Luka has never had a teammate shoot over 40% in a season in his career. And the Mavericks
a wild stat.
looking to improve on their woeful shooting, of course, from the finals.
That stat won't exist after this.
Well, we got to talk about this. You know, Wendy, I guess I'll start with you because how did you, in your opinion, Klay Thompson signing with, let's say, the Mavericks over the Lakers when LeBron called him personally, the Lakers were reportedly offering him a similar financial package as well?
I actually probably don't think it was that close for Klay. I mean, I know that the Lakers are a big draw because they're his hometown team, but they're not comparable to where the Mavericks are from winning, from competing for championships. The Mavericks are right there on the doorstep, and they were here in LA with Nico Harrison, their general manager, with Jason Kidd, their head coach, and they presented him the very clear plan of how they were going to use him. And as you mentioned, there's clearly a hole exactly where he would fit in as a spot-up three-point shooter, an above-the-break three-point shooter especially, where he could really thrive in what they've already got going. And here's the thing, like, the Lakers are still a bit of a mystery. J.J. Redick, we're not exactly sure what his system is going to look like, how he's going to operate. Klay knew for months he was leaving the Warriors, and he got to spend the whole spring basically shopping. He watched Dallas win 3 playoff series and go to the finals. A total recruiting pitch for him, whether they knew it or not. So the fact that the state income tax was a factor in making this actually worth a little bit more money than the Lakers offer, I guess I'll throw that on the pile. But I think this was probably a pretty clean decision that it took Klay, he wanted to hear the Lakers out and, get...
Là video hướng dẫn cách làm một chiếc phong bao giống như thế này nhá. Các bạn bắt tay vào làm cùng tôi nha. Này là mình sẽ cố định được cái hình này. Mình bôi keo vào nhá và mình áp vào. Mình áp vào, mình ấn cho nó dính thật là chắc. Rồi, Mình sẽ được cái phần hình dán như thế này là chuẩn này mọi người. Sẽ dán theo một cái đường xoáy tròn này. Đấy, mình xoáy như thế này là được nhá. Mình sẽ tiến hành mình làm cái bước tiếp theo, đó là làm cái phần trang trí. Mình sẽ giật bớt cái phần keo dư này ra đã này. Giật bớt phần keo dư ra, bây giờ mình làm phần trang trí nhá. Mình sử dụng cái phần màu đỏ này nhá. Mình gập vào làm 4 phần bằng nhau. Rồi bây giờ mình sẽ cắt nó ra làm đôi. Tại vì là cái bìa của mình nó khá là dày nên là mình sẽ phải cắt đôi. Bây giờ mình sẽ tiến hành mình tạo hình cái phong bao này. Đây, nó là cái hình như thế này. Bây giờ mình sẽ tạo hình. Mình gấp những cái đường lần lượt. Đây, gấp lần lượt xuống. Ở cái tấm cuối cùng thì mình sẽ gài vào như thế này để cho nó cố định lại. Đây, mình được cái phần phong bao rất là xinh rồi. Bây giờ mình sẽ làm phần trang trí. Mình sử dụng cái tấm màu đỏ này. Mình gập làm đôi nhé mọi người. Gập làm đôi. Cứ gập lần lượt từng hình một. Rồi, bây giờ mình sẽ dùng bút. Mình vẽ cái hình trái tim lên đây. Vẽ cái hình trái tim nho nhỏ đó nha mọi người. Nho nhỏ xinh xinh và mình sẽ vẽ một nửa thôi. Tại vì là mình gập đôi rồi nhưng khi mình cắt ra mình sẽ được một trái tim hoàn chỉnh nhé. Mình cắt ra theo đường đã vẽ. Rồi, mình sẽ được trái tim như thế này rất là xinh. Số lượng là 2, tại vì mình gập 2 lần bìa ấy nên là sẽ được 2 cái. Bây giờ mình sẽ đặt cái phần trái tim này lên trên cái tấm còn lại nhé mọi người. Đặt lên tấm còn lại. Và bây giờ mình sẽ vẽ viền theo. Như vậy thì mình sẽ được những cái hình trái tim nó giống nhau ấy. Đây, bây giờ mình vẽ viền theo. Rồi mình được cái hình như thế này nhá. Giờ mình sẽ cắt nó ra theo hình đã vẽ. Mình đặt kéo vào và cắt ra. Cứ cắt lần lượt cho đến hết. Mình bỏ phần dư đi nhé. Và bây giờ mình sẽ gắn những cái hình trái tim này lên, mình trang trí cho cái phong bao của mình. Mình sẽ gắn trái tim vào. Mình bôi keo vào nhé. Và mình gắn những trái tim này vào. Mình gắn lệch một bên như thế này. Mình tiếp tục mình gắn, cứ gắn lần lượt cho đến hết. Đây, tiếp tục bôi keo và gắn vào. Mình cứ gắn lệch một bên như vậy nhé. Rồi, mình lại gắn những cái mặt còn lại cũng như vậy. Bôi keo và áp vào. Rồi, một tấm cuối cùng nữa. Mình cũng bôi keo và mình áp vào như vậy. Xong rồi mình sẽ giật bớt những cái phần keo dư dính trên này đi nhé. Mình giật hết những phần keo dư đi. Bây giờ mình sẽ dùng bút mình vẽ những cái đường nét và mình trang trí cho nó đẹp hơn. Mình sẽ sử dụng 2 cái cây bút này. Bây giờ mình sẽ vẽ viền theo cái màu đen này. Đấy, mình tạo cái điểm nhấn cho cái phần trang trí cho nó rõ nét hơn, đẹp hơn. Mình cứ vẽ lần lượt từng hình một. Vẽ lần lượt cho đến hết. Tiếp tục vẽ. Đây, mình được cái phần trang trí rất là xinh rồi. Giờ mình sẽ dùng đến cái phần màu xanh. Mình sẽ vẽ những cái đường như thế này. Mình vẽ những đường như thế này, mình tạo cái phần trang trí cho nó này. Cái đường cong. Đây mình vẽ những đường như thế này nhá mọi người. Mình vẽ ở trên cái phần màu hồng. Mình không vẽ ở trên phần màu xanh nhé, mình vẽ phần màu hồng thôi. Mình sẽ dùng cái màu xanh ấy thì nó sẽ tạo cái sự liên kết giữa cái phần màu hồng và phần màu xanh. Đấy. Mình cứ vẽ lần lượt cho đến hết nhé. Tiếp tục vẽ. Rồi một đường cuối cùng. Xong rồi. Sau khi làm xong mình sẽ có một cái phần phong bao rất là xinh như thế này nhá. Thì các bạn tham khảo cách làm của mình để có thể tạo ra được những cái phong bao giống vậy nhá. Chúc các bạn thành công và hẹn gặp lại ở những video tiếp theo. Bye bye!